First of all, Apple has revised their platform rules. I don't know whether you knew this, John, but basically, Apple have this problem with allowing people to make cool things on their app store, basically.
And also charging for them.
Yeah. They want their 30%. They're going to get that 30%. So the latest one is gaming streaming, which is... game streaming has been around for a while. The concept's been around for a while. But it's really starting to heat up as bandwidth's increasing and sort of cloud computing is getting much more powerful. So what we've got rival services from Microsoft and Google. We've got Google Stadia and we've got Xbox. Is it Game Pass?
I don't know. It might be, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they have these streaming services where you can have the same experience on a laptop and your phone and your console, and you can basically just use any device and you're using the cloud to compute that instead. So you're using cloud hardware and you're just streaming that right back to you. Apple have a problem with this, but they've revised their platform rules to explicitly allow game streaming. But there's a catch. So there's been loads of lawsuits. Microsoft, Google, they've come out and said that this is going to kill their product because they can't get iPhone users on the app. So the idea is that it's like Netflix for games. So you'd open up the app, you choose the game you want, and you'd be straight in it. And Apple said they don't mind letting you stream these games, but each game has to be sort of a standalone app on your device. What do you think about that?
I think they're an evil corporation.
Why do you think?
For doing that? That's crazy. That's like, you can't sell what?
The interesting thing is that they have said that providers may offer a single subscription service that's shared across all of the apps and services. So it's a bit like Amazon. You can have Amazon Prime and you can install the Amazon Prime Music app and the Amazon Prime Video app and all of that. They don't mind you doing that, but they're individual apps.
Okay.
So if you wanted... I mean, it's like having an app for every single show you watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That's like having an app for every single episode in a series that you watch. Mm-hmm. Right, not just the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Each individual series.
Almost every episode.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And what's interesting is that Facebook have also tried to launch a gaming app. This seems to be a inevitable technology.
Yeah, I think so.
But the problem is, and I think the real problem is that Apple don't have cloud gaming. They don't have a stake in this market yet.
So they don't like it.
So they don't want it in there because otherwise the same thing that happened with Spotify will happen with this, which is, well, Spotify was the first to provide this subscription unlimited music service, one of the first. And because Apple didn't have that then, they just had iTunes when it was pay by track. Everyone used Spotify, and then Apple lost ground in that race to get that technology. So it's interesting. Everyone's trying to do it. But that's where we stand with that one. How long until you fall in love with a robot?
About instantly.
Well, this is quite an interesting thing.
I already love my computer.
I found this article in the New York Times. How long until you fall in love with a robot? And it's basically talking about this concept, this science fiction concept of that robots will get to the amazing level of mimicking us that people can actually fall in love with them. But not just have romantic relationships. It might be a friendship. It might be a parent-child relationship. It can be anything. So if you can't have kids biologically, you could possibly have a robot kid and not really feel differently. Yeah. That's the sci-fi concept. But in the later years, we're starting to see this emerge. So the first thing is sex robots. Yeah. Which is like the first step. It is. Right? Yeah. But what's interesting about this is that this is an industry that is happening now. And the New York Times article goes on to talk about what are the limitations of this technology? Are there ever going to be them? But my question to you, John, is if robots can make you fall in love with them, why would you fall in love with a human being?
Yeah. It's the evolution of the species, I'd say. I'd say I'd be s- I'd be surprised if it became the norm.
Mm.
Because as a species, you can't. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
You
To
know,
continue
to
continue the human race.
That's like literally your number one goal on the list
Yeah.
is to procreate.
Yeah.
That's like top of your list usually,
Okay.
because that's how we've survived.
Yeah.
You know, like you go, well, I might die, but at least there'll be a kid, there'll be a new me.
It's kind
or
of
two.
It's about legacy and
Yeah.
moving the human race forward.
But yeah, falling in love with a robot, it's interesting, isn't it? So, could it happen? Yeah, maybe. I'm sure a lot could happen, but becoming the norm, I doubt.
All right, here's a question. This is maybe a difficult question. What does a robot need to do in order for... It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but in order for you to have a friendship or romantic relationship with a robot, what are they missing right now, in your opinion?
Quite a lot.
Okay.
Feelings, probably top of that list, and its own personality.
Mm-hmm.
So that's two things that we haven't quite got there at all yet.
Mm-hmm.
With
I think for me, a robot... Currently, if you look at Alexa and Google Home and things like that, they don't have a personality. They have this like weird personality that the developers have thought like, oh,
yeah,
when they ask this, she should like comment on the weather or something like that. But that's not personality. Personality evolves over time.
It's quirkiness somehow, isn't it? It's not personality. It's more like, oh, it'd be funny if it did this. And it's somebody else's personality imprinted on it. Yeah.
And going back to the sex robot side of things, there's an ethical conversation that's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Where do you think it is ethical to have sex robots? And because obviously the sex industry
Yeah.
can be both good and bad.
Yeah.
But do you think, so say someone who, a guy that's abusive
Yeah.
buys like a child robot.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's where it was going, wasn't it?
Is that ethical or not ethical?
Exactly. And I think it's way more ethical to have a child robot than a child. But still really weird.
Yeah.
And they need mental help.
They do. And
Anyway.
then, is it then, because currently it's not illegal to buy a
Yes.
sex robot that is a child.
Yes.
When do we make that illegal? When is that classed
And-
as encouragement?
And yeah. Is that
Because like
enforcing it? Or?
morally and like for you and I, that feels really uncomfortable and alarm bells straight
Yes.
away. But there are companies that can manufacture a child sex robot right now and would sell it to whoever is willing to pay the £10,000 price tag
Or whatever it is.
of whatever
But
it is.
also I'd prefer that over a child.
Yeah.
At the same time. Like if that's the only alternative, go for that.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. I think
yeah.
I think the next 10 years, humans overall will begin to be closer to robots and to machines and to AI. AI already runs our like basic industry, which is like stock market, manufacturing lines and things like that. But when we come into customer service, now you've got the more intelligent phone calls where you talk to the computer that then decides whether you need to talk to a human.
Yeah.
Like I signed up to a new energy provider the other day,
Oh, right.
and I was talking to a bot.
Yeah.
It was like, would you like this or this? And I was like, I want this one. And it was
Yeah.
like, okay. And actually, this is really interesting. This maybe should be its own clip. So I was on the phone to this lady,
Yeah.
and real lady. She was walking me through the different tariffs for my energy contract.
Yeah.
And then when it got to the point where they had to make a legally binding deal with me,
Yeah.
she swapped to the bot. And then she said, you're going to have to talk to our automated system for a second. And the automated system went through about 2 minutes of terms and conditions with me. And then it said, and do you understand this bit? And I went, yep. Do you understand this bit? No. And then it clarified it for me. And then when I had like cleared up the kind of agree, but over the phone, I agree to these terms and conditions, then the human went, okay, thank you for that, and then carried on.
That's crazy. That's really cool.
I think that's
very really cool. Awesome.
It's interesting, isn't it? That technology. Yeah, I mean, I think that technology is potentially going to aid us in different ways, where the human element is needed to make the deal. To convince me that I want to go with that energy company, they need a human to talk to me.
At the moment.
But
also, they're probably using AI advertisements everywhere.
Probably. And
your brain is going, energy.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was really interesting. Really,
that is really interesting. One of my friends works in a call center, and they say one of the one of the most complimenting things is being told you sound like a robot.
Oh, really?
Because it's like, you're doing your job then.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is weird.
You don't sound like a robot, John.
Yeah, good.
All right, moving on. Nvidia. Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
This is exciting. Nvidia is trying to buy Arm.
Arm?
Do you know who Arm are? Right, Arm. I'm obviously way too excited about this. Arm are a UK chip manufacturer.
Okay.
They are the reason you have a smartphone.
Yeah.
So basically, in the 90s, there was this whole processor industry emerging, and you had people like Intel and AMD, and they were approaching it with, we're going to pack as much power into these chips, they're going to do as much multiprocessing as possible, we don't care about power consumption, we just want the biggest output possible. And ARM, who evolved out of, I think it was Cambridge University, they went, we're going to make the lowest power chip,
we're going to make the most efficient chip.
It's all about efficiency. So ARM kind of went through the process of inventing all of these different chips. Raspberry Pi runs on an ARM processor.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Snapdragon processors are based on the ARM architecture, if maybe owned by ARM. I can't quite remember, but there's a close relationship there, and ARM processors are used in almost every smartphone. So they don't have to be the main CPU. They can have other jobs, so they might be in the GPS chip. They might be the GPU. They have all sorts of different designs. But basically, ARM chips are revolutionary, tiny processing chips, basically. And Nvidia are they're buying ARM. They're going
to buy it.
It's going to be theirs for $40 billion.
Yeah. Yummy.
That's a lot.
Throwaway change after they sell the 3080s.
Yeah, that's right.
That's pocket change.
They had to release just with their new product line.
Yeah,
bought ARM.
We'll buy ARM now. We built these really good we built these really good GPUs. Oh yeah, they're half the price. Oh yeah, we're buying that.
Yeah,
we want it.
But I think what's interesting here is that there's the potential for Nvidia to have a ridiculous market share of processors and basically chipsets across the world. With the only real competitor being Intel at this point.
And AMD.
Yes, but AMD are quickly falling behind.
Knocked out the water.
Yeah.
They have to do something really spectacular. I wanted my 3080. I wanted one. And I couldn't get it.
So come on,
instantly sold out.
So what's the okay? So they instantly sold out.
Instantly sold out.
What?
I was on their website. I was clicking that refresh button, spamming that F5 button, tapping away at it, just like, where's it coming? Where's it coming? Instantly went from the little notify me that I'd already signed up to. Right, I was like, give me an alert when these are available. I want one.
Yeah.
Right, it goes notify me. I'm like, I've already done that. F5, spam refresh. Sold out.
No.
Gone. Bye. I didn't even see that it was in stock. It literally went from notify me to out of stock.
Oh, no. And I saw something online after this. And basically, everybody, especially large resellers, have been using bots.
Yeah, they're just absolutely botted the site.
Yeah. So this raises an interesting question. And we were talking about this off camera. Do you think Nvidia and other sellers have a responsibility to combat bot sales?
Absolutely.
Why?
because it ruins a launch, you know, because now I'm left with a sour taste in my mouth, going, well, I was here fair and square in queue. Why is it fair that a robot that can do it instantly gets it over me, an actual consumer who they're just reselling it to for more money?
And I think what's interesting is Nvidia have said, actually, I just pulled this up.
Yeah.
Pull that up. What is it? It's like Joe Rogan was like, he's always asking, pull that up, Jamie. Anyway, so PC Gamer, they've done an article 15 hours ago about this problem. And Nvidia have now formally apologized for the low stock, and they say they're doing everything, and this is the key word, humanly possible to stop RTX 3080 bots and scalpers. Right,
yeah.
What is a scalper?
Scalper's somebody who just kind of buys a ton of something like tickets or something to a show and then just resells them at like the last second, basically.
So, I see.
For a huge profit.
Okay, I see. So that mainly
they make
like
a
tickets
heck
and
of
things,
a lot of
but
money.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've made a revolutionary product, and everyone wants it. That's the bottom line. And it's not like those cards are gone. They will pop up on eBay. They will pop up.
Do you know what somebody did? Somebody made a bot on eBay to bid for every single scalper's 3080.
Oh,
and made fake accounts to bid for it to be 50 grand. They're all 50 grand. They all have bids of 50 grand, and it's never going to get paid.
Oh, nice.
So they'll win the bid and never pay it. So that's what you get for using bots. You get you get people with bigger brains
AI
using better bots.
No, people are using.
If you're going to use a bot to scrape something,
Yeah.
expect to have a bot used against you.
Yeah.
Because you scraped it. Yeah.
There's a lot of money in the sort of secret industry of bots as well.
Yeah.
Because
So
I
much
guarantee none of the people that bought the RTX 3080s built their bot. There's a software company that's made that bot.
It's very easy to make a bot.
How would you make a bot? How do you go about making a bot?
It's just some program. It's not very difficult for us, I guess.
It depends.
Yeah,
exactly.
it depends what you're trying to do.
We're back, John, and have I got some news for you? This isn't a massive thing, but Apple have recently done their their like September annual release.
Okay.
Usually we get a new iPhone, new iPad, a bunch of new services they've been working on. And this year was slightly different because there were no new iPhones launched. Ooh, iPhone 12 has been delayed. Obvious reason, there's probably a supply chain issue, but also there's a hype issue where you can't go out to the Apple store in confidence to get one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a problem for Apple because that means you're probably going to either do it online, which will overstress the delivery system, or you're going to do it through a third-party seller, which is, of course, Apple's worst nightmare. How dare you use
third party? No, you must buy from us.
So, this is The Guardian. Apple did leave one surprise, but it wasn't for consumers. So, Apple released their new iOS update, iOS 14. It brings basically the Android experience to iOS. I've had the iOS 14 for a couple of months now because we have our developer license with Apple, so we get access to things before everyone else. And it brings things like widgets to the home screen and app folders that fill themselves up based on AI. There's a few background improvements. I'm sure there's a worse battery life, and there's slightly slower for
CPU
older devices
usage,
and all of that. But the interesting thing is that developers were not expecting this to happen. They were not expecting this to happen at all. The developer community, I don't really know why they weren't expecting it to happen because I had iOS 14 and I was expecting it to be released.
Yeah.
But I think really the community expects a significant software update when a new piece of hardware is released.
Okay.
And we knew that the new hardware was probably not going to be released. Now, this is a problem for developers because it fundamentally changes how the OS works.
Okay.
and it's got a very heavy focus on privacy, as always with Apple.
Yeah.
And there are more restrictions on access to camera and microphone. So people's apps are
Even
breaking.
more.
Yeah, people's apps are breaking. They've also launched their own other services at the event. But independent developers like us, a lot of people were saying that the short notice has left them frantically rushing to update their own apps to work with the new systems.
It's crazy that just completely disrupts the whole industry that they own, right? But just because they're like, yeah, we'll just do that.
I mean, I'm a sort of fan of Apple. I'm a fan of how they kicked off the computing industry.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of their design. I really love their design. I'm not a fan of the control they have over our industry.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan that I have to have an Apple Mac to make an Apple app.
Yeah.
And things like that. That annoys me. That's just bad. In my head, that's bad design, and that puts off developers.
In my head, it's monopoly.
It is. It's monopoly, and this is the latest example of that.
Yeah.
Which is, if they put out a software update, your app that's your livelihood, that makes you money and put food on the table, doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And they don't have to tell you that they're going to put one out. They just put it out.
Yeah.
So short notice, especially if we've worked with clients, made them apps that they can't update themselves. They would have to start a new contract with us in order for us to update it to the latest OS, or they have a maintenance contract which would cover that as a sort of insurance. But if there are people with an app that makes them money but they can't actually update it themselves, then that app for the foreseeable next few months doesn't do anything. And then where does your user base go?
I mean, imagine you brought out a law without telling anyone. Right? That the next day you can't wear red. Right? Tomorrow you can't wear red.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No warning.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, but my entire outfit's red.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody's wearing red socks. Like they're all getting chucked in the bin. Somebody has to deal with all these like blue, like everybody's selling blue jumpers because you can't wear red. And then the next day they bring out a law that's like, oh yeah, but now you can't wear blue. You have to wear red.
I think if you become an Apple developer, you need to have, you need your clients, and you, like us as a company, we have a responsibility to tell our clients that it's difficult to work with Apple.
Yeah.
Like, we're currently working on a project, and in the actual timeline is a 3 to 4 week potential delay just if Apple doesn't like the app.
Yeah.
If they don't like the app, and they don't have to state why they don't like it, they just have to say, we don't like it, it's not coming on our App Store.
Yeah.
And they have been known to do that in the past. So we have to put that into the timeline. I remember in past projects, we've had our app rejected by the Apple Store 48 hours before it goes live. And we had a massive launch event planned. There were hundreds of people there. It wasn't the sort of thing we could mess up.
Yeah.
And there's me on the phone to Apple, like, can we fast track this? And luckily, they do have a fast track mechanism. But that control, the fact that I can't make something without someone else going, yes, we like it.
Yeah.
And that controls the whole project. Like, what if you build an app and they just say, no, you can't have it on the App Store, full stop? Whose responsibility is that then?
Yeah, I think they definitely have a responsibility to look after the people they're kind of employing. They're not employing them, but they have a responsibility to those people who make a livelihood out of their product. All
right, next story. I've got some news about VR. I'm excited about VR. I think VR is the future.
I really want Beat Saber. I really want Beat Saber.
Well, that might be good because Facebook is ditching PC-only Oculus Rift VR development with a really heavy focus on more portable VR.
Okay.
So they're releasing their new Oculus Quest 2 and is going to be released next month for under £300. $299. That is a steal.
That's a steal.
So what this is, the hardware is a reasonably good Android system,
Yeah.
Android phone, essentially,
Mhm.
put in a face mask.
Yeah.
Not this sort of face mask.
Yeah.
This sort of face mask.
Yeah.
And so they're releasing this. They released the Quest last year, same time last year, and that was about $499. So that was still a little bit
Yeah.
pricey. That's the price of a console.
Yeah. It's like, what is it? The magic number is like 400. Because
Yeah,
that's the price.
the girlfriend threshold.
The girlfriend
that's called. Yes.
threshold. Yeah.
Yeah. The girlfriend threshold, for those of you who don't know, is the amount of money you can tell your girlfriend you bought something and for her to not kick off. And
Well,
I don't know
she'll
whether
kick
that's...
off, but she doesn't have a leg to stand
But it's
on.
only $499.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
it's
yeah.
only... Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So that's why all consoles are always sub £500.
Yeah.
Because... and it says the girlfriend threshold. I don't know whether that's quite politically correct in 2020, but
It's true.
essentially it's the price of which it is acceptable to spend money on something that is for pure entertainment.
Yeah.
So, $299, Quest 2. This is something you can take anywhere you want with you.
Yeah.
They've made it lighter. They've made it smaller. Their sort of idea of how you use this thing is you stick it in a bag and you take it with you. So you're taking it to work. Like, I want to get this for one reason, which is virtual desktop.
Okay.
So this is something where you can have your PC
Yeah.
and it streams to you wirelessly now your screens. You can have as big a monitor you want.
Yeah.
And you got your keyboard and your mouse, but you've got no neck ache. You can just have you can just look around. Your I don't know, for us, VS Code can be over here
Yeah.
and, whatever. But I'm excited about this. I'm excited about a workspace that is I can move it around.
Three-dimensional. Yeah.
It's not tied down by physics.
You really like the what movie is it? With the blue people, and they go to war. Avatar.
Yeah.
You really like the screens in Avatar,
Yeah.
where you just want to pick something up and move it over there, and we have it now.
We do. We have
Yeah.
it, but it doesn't look like we thought it would. We thought it'd be.
Well,
we're in the
that's
real world.
augmented reality.
Yeah, I mean augmented reality.
Yeah.
I'm excited about having no screens and no wires because
Yeah.
everything's AR and there's an interview with Mark Zuckerberg that's just come out with Marquez Brownlee interviewing Mark Zuckerberg, and Mark Zuckerberg was saying he's most excited about potentially you don't need a TV.
Yeah.
You don't need any screen. You don't need a phone. If you've got this pair of glasses, you just open your hand and it's there.
Yeah.
Or why do you have to you don't have to have the constraint of a square.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't the Snapchat icon just in front of you? Or you just think it and it's there?
Yeah, and you'll link it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get it directly streamed into your brain.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the Quest 2 trailer. I'm going to show you, John.
Yeah. Very sleek.
It is sleek.
What resolution is it? Do you know?
Yes. So you got your two controllers and
Yeah.
stuff, and I get
it comes with the two controllers, does it?
yeah. So you get
That's cool.
comes with your two controllers. They provide at least a certain level of
Yeah.
feedback.
Okay.
And Facebook are talking about some really interesting things, especially with the AR stuff about feedback, where you can introduce new senses. So when you move your hand near something, you start to feel it, and as you get closer, it gets harder and harder. So you're changing the way people actually receive the world. Amazing for people who are blind or whatever. But so yeah, the resolution of this, it's 2K per eye. But the cool thing is with VR, you add the two eyes together. So this is a 4K experience.
Okay.
It's just under 2K. So it's just under 4K experience.
So it's what, 100 pixels or something like that.
It's
Because I think
1832 by 1920 each eye.
Okay.
Which gives you
That's quite a good resolution, really.
It's a very good resolution.
That's better than most monitors.
Yeah. So they've got 3D positional audio, which will bring us onto our next topic in a minute. They've got the Snapdragon XR2 processor, 64 gig of storage. This is the thing. The storage has to be able to store high quality games.
Yeah.
So I think 64
is nothing.
Oh, a model with 256 of built-in storage is also available for an extra £100. So if you want that storage, you can get it. If you're just watching Netflix in 3D or something, you can. This is perfect. 10% lighter, 6 gig of RAM. So it's basically it's an Android phone from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Strapped to your face. I like it. I think it's a really interesting.
Yeah, it sounds affordable.
It's affordable.
It's like if I could play something like Beat Saber on it, it might start getting much more traction. It's starting to get into the price range of. Yeah, I kind of like the sound of that.
It's almost like maybe I could just try it for $299.
Yeah.
It's not a huge loss. And this brings us over to when we talk about VR and immersive experiences, AR as well. We always talk about visual side, and the industry's always had a massive focus on visual, because if you don't remove visual, you're not immersed. However, there's a huge focus now on VR audio, 3D spatial audio. So this is audio that augments your reality, it changes your reality, but in a different way, in a non-visual way, in an audible way.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing, AirPods Pro now boast the Dolby Atmos surround sound. So this is interesting because this is a consumer pair of earphones that millions of people already own. And they have a gyroscope in them. Okay. Right. So what this allows you to do is you can be watching something, and as you turn your head, it works out the position of where all those sounds would be. So it's really immersive because if I'm talking to a virtual character that stood over there, and I turn my head, the
voice is gonna get
around.
Like further away. Yeah.
And this kind of technology has only really been found in VR and AR experiences.
Yeah.
And this is why everyone thinks that had there not been a pandemic, this year would have been the year that Apple released the AR Play.
Yeah.
But there are no Apple glasses. I'm very sad about that.
Yeah.
But it seems like the industry's just warming up to this idea of more immersion in technology. Who knows? I want to get AirPods Pro just for this feature.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be amazing.
I think you'd find it annoying after a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think you'd just want to hear it no matter what direction you're facing. Sometimes you just want to hear stuff.
Yeah.
Right, but I think it'd be really interesting because we kind of already had this with video games. Right? So I've got surround sound when I'm playing video games so that I know if there's an enemy behind me, and if so, whereabouts. Yeah. What direction is the enemy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about this technology is that it started in gaming.
Yeah.
Just like for example, massive graphics processing started in gaming and is now being used by the AI industry for a completely different use for processing tensors. So I'm really interested about what comes out of the gaming industry. I'm not a massive gamer, but this stuff is cool. And I tell you what, having a Facebook Oculus Quest for $299, that will get me into gaming.
Yeah, it would.
That will get me into gaming. And it may be that I go, I just want to play on my desktop now. But it's interesting what's happening. And $299, that's cheaper than like an iPad or an Apple Watch, or like that's cheap. That is really cheap. So I think I might order one.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to get one.
Oh, I'll try yours out.
Yeah.
And then if I like it, I'll get one.
We'll have a VR day.
Yeah.
Where we're just on the podcast, but in virtual space.
Yeah.
Just talking to each other. But yeah. All right, that's all I've got. That's all the stories. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I guess we'll see you next time.
See you next time.